I was born with hips 2 sizes larger than everyone else. Not only am I blessed with fertility, but I can also determine the gender of the child in my womb. The emperor's health was damaged in his youth. To ensure his lineage, he married me and brought me into the palace. In the first year, I became pregnant. I asked him if he wanted a boy or a girl. He stroked my belly with a gentle smile. A boy or a girl, either is fine. As long as it's from you, I will love it. Therefore, I did not intervene in the child's gender. Later, I gave birth to a baby girl. Unexpectedly, the emperor ended my life with a single sword stroke. He said this wasn't what he wanted. In my second life, I changed the girl in my womb into a boy. He threw me into a manure pit again. This was still not what he wanted. In the third life, I gave birth to an intersex child. The result was even more miserable than the first 2 lives. When I opened my eyes again, it was my 4th rebirth. Looking at the emperor staring at my belly with pure anticipation, I couldn't help but ask, what kind of child do you actually want? As long as it comes out of your belly, I want them all. Just like in the previous 3 lives. After Xiaochen finished speaking, he leaned down and planted a kiss on my belly. His movements were pious, hiding none of his affection for the child inside. I simply couldn't reconcile this gentle Xiaochen with the tyrant who had murdered me in my past lives. After a long silence, I couldn't resist testing him. Then let's not keep this baby for now. Wait 2 more years before having children. What do you think? What did you say? Before I could finish, Xiaochen had already stood up with a cold face. The moment he flared up, the maids and eunuchs inside and out fell to their knees under Xiaochen's murderous gaze. I braced myself and said it again. I said I don't want this child. Nonsense. Xiaochen roared in fury, grabbing a teacup from the table and hurling it at me. I had no time to dodge, but a pink figure suddenly blocked me. After my maid, Xiaozi, blocked the teacup for me. She knelt on the ground to plead, Your Majesty, please calm your anger. The little prince has been very restless in Her Highness' belly lately. Her Highness spoke out of turn because she is troubled by the disturbance. That is why she spoke without thinking. Hearing this, the violence on Xiaochen's face gradually faded. He bent down to comfort me. Yunshu, I know it is hard for you to carry this child, but regardless, do not joke with me about the child. You clearly know how much I look forward to this child's birth. Endure it just a little longer. In 2 days, you can finally bring the child into the world. Take good care of your health these next 2 days and make sure nothing goes wrong. The women of our family are born with natural luck. Not only can we propagate for peerless men, but we can also control the gender of the fetus. Even after the baby is full term, we can choose the exact hour to give birth. On the first day of my pregnancy, Xiaochen had someone calculate the timing. A child born in 2 days, during the auspicious hour, would possess a legendary fate of nobility. Not only would the child be extraordinarily intelligent, but the parents would also be blessed by fortune. It's a pity that although the timing was perfect, none of the children I gave birth to ever met a good end. Thinking of this, my heart felt a stinging pain and my face turned pale. Seeing my poor complexion, Xiaochen truly thought I was being tormented by the pregnancy. He offered a few more words of comfort, stayed for a meal, and then left. Not long after he departed, the head eunuch by his side carried 2 chests of gold, silver, and jewels into my palace. He said Xiaochen knew my pregnancy was difficult, so he specially bestowed these trinkets upon me. He called them trinkets, but these items were rare treasures from various tributary nations. Ordinarily, other consorts wouldn't even get a glimpse of them, but since I became pregnant, Xiaochen had practically moved the national treasury into my palace, as if afraid others wouldn't know how much he doted on me. In the past, seeing these would have made me happy for a long time. Now, I had no interest at all. I told Xiaozi to count them and put them away. As she was leaving, I heard her mutter to herself, His Majesty looks forward to the little prince's birth so much. Why does he still kill them? When I heard this, I hurriedly stood up and grabbed her arm. What did you say? Xiaozi was so frightened she fell to her knees. Nothing, Your Highness. I misspoke. I stared straight at her. How could you know Xiaochen kills my children? Have you also been reborn? Just as I suspected. Xiaozi had also been reborn 4 times. She said that after I died, Xiaochen would kill every maid who had contact with me. After saying this, she gave my belly a strange look. Your Highness, why would His Majesty do such a thing? Is it possible the child in your womb isn't his? How could that be? Xiaochen is impotent. Because he was poisoned as a child. Furthermore, after the poisoning, that person had brazenly publicized it, saying they had ruined his foundation. This led the whole world to know that Xiaochen could not father children. I don't know if it's because of this, but after Xiaochen ascended the throne, he never took any concubines. Moreover, any man who could access the inner palace had been castrated. When I was first killed, I had wondered if Xiaochen felt the child wasn't his, which is why he was so furious. But through my tests over several lifetimes, I found that Xiaochen knows very clearly that the seed in my womb is indeed his. Xiaozi was also a bit discouraged. Then that is very strange. You gave birth to a little princess, and His Majesty didn't like her. You gave birth to a little prince, and His Majesty didn't want him either. There are only 2 genders. If he is satisfied with neither, could it be that he doesn't want a human? Xiaozi meant it as a joke, but to her surprise, I jumped up upon hearing it. Perhaps you are right. Our emperor might not be human at all. Before I entered the palace, my mother had invited a senior maid from the palace to our home to teach me the rules. In our leisure time, that person had mentioned some things about Xiaochen's childhood. Xiao Chen's mother was once a head maid by the late emperor's side. She served for several years, and after the late emperor got drunk one time, she became pregnant with Xiao Chen. After having Xiao Chen's mother rose in status because of her son. She was conferred as a consort, and she enjoyed much favor. For someone with such good fortune, she passed away right after giving birth to Xiao Chen. The reason for her death was publicly said to be postpartum hemorrhage. However, that senior maid told me it was because Xiao Chen's mother wasn't human at all, but a civet cat. The senior maid told me that Xiao Chen's mother reverted to her original form right after giving birth, turning into a civet cat. Xiao Chen was also born in a half-human, half-cat form. The late emperor saw this as soon as he entered the room, and he flew into a rage. He ended his mother's life on the spot. At the time, I didn't take this story to heart. Thinking about it now, perhaps Xiao Chen really is a civet cat. But who knows if the story is true or false. Xiao Zi's eyes lit up for a moment, but quickly dimmed again. If it's not true, won't we just die once more? Hearing that, I also felt a bit discouraged. Having died so many times, I'm not afraid of death anymore, but Xiao Chen makes my deaths increasingly perverse. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but worry. After worrying for a long while, a person suddenly flashed into my mind. I know who to ask. Whether this matter is true or false. I took Xiao Zi to a remote part of the garden, where Xiao Chen's wet nurse lived. After Xiao Chen's biological mother died, the late emperor didn't entrust him to any consort. Instead, he had this wet nurse raise him. Because he had no empress to back him up, Xiao Chen's childhood was very bitter. The late emperor didn't treat him as a son, and the princes didn't recognize him as a brother. The servants in the palace always looked down on those without power. He was often bullied by the little eunuchs. When Xiao Chen told me about this, he held me tightly. So no matter what kind of child you bear for me, I will treat them well. I will be a good father, and won't let them walk the path I did. He was so sincere when he said those words, and seemed to long for family affection so much. Was it all just a lie to me? I had met Xiao Chen's wet nurse a few times. She was a very kind person. I told her the rumors I had heard. She laughed heartily. Who did you hear that from? How could His Majesty be a civet cat? Haha. I widened my eyes. Is it impossible? Absolutely impossible, the wet nurse said with certainty. She said she wasn't just Xiao Chen's wet nurse, but she was also the one who delivered him when he was born. Xiao Chen's mother died precisely because of childbirth. She never turned into a civet cat. The reason why this story circulated in the palace was that Xiao Chen was always being bullied, so he made up a story like this. In this way, if everyone thought he was a cat demon, they wouldn't dare bully him. At this point, the wet nurse clapped her hands. I even have portraits of His Majesty when he was a child. She got up and rummaged through a chest in the room, quickly producing several yellowed papers. Despite the years, the person drawn on them was still lifelike. I studied painting when I was at my family home. His Majesty was simply too adorable as a child. So every once in a while, I would draw a picture of him. Starting from when he was an infant, Xiao Zi and I flipped through page after page. When we reached the last page, my eyes widened. This drawing should be how Xiao Chen looked shortly after birth. Xiao Zi also noticed something. She pulled my sleeve and spoke in a low voice. Isn't this? She didn't finish her sentence, but I understood her meaning. Xiao Zi had also seen the appearance of my previous children. They were exactly the same as the Xiao Chen in the portrait. This realization made us both even more puzzled. If he's human, and my children looked so similar to Xiao Chen, then what exactly went wrong? Why would Xiao Chen be so cruel as to kill our children one after another? To solve the problem, one must go to the source. Since I couldn't find the answer with the wet nurse, I prepared to visit Xiao Chen once more. When I arrived at Xiao Chen's palace, he was personally making something for a child to play with, a peachwood sword. Seeing me, he motioned for me to come over. Once the child is born, they can play with this. Do you think they will like what I made? I frowned slightly. Xiao Chen was clearly the supreme ruler, yet he enjoyed making small toys for the child with his own hands. Rattles, peachwood swords, miniature red-tasseled spears. Previously, I only thought he did this because he truly loved children. Now I finally sensed something was wrong. Xiao Chen clearly knew I was carrying a girl, yet he was making toys that boys liked. I bit my lip and tested him. Your Majesty, actually, you prefer a boy, don't you? Xiao Chen was stunned for a long time. Then he spoke. Yun Shu, do you want to hear the truth? I held my breath and nodded. Yes, Your Majesty, if you really want a boy, I could make it happen. He came over and pinched my cheek. Boys and girls are the same to me. I'm making these, not just for the child, but also for myself. Xiao Chen said. The late emperor also liked making small toys, but those were all for the other princes. There was never a share for Xiao Chen, and Xiao Chen told me he didn't just make toys for boys, there were some for girls too. He took my hand and opened a cabinet. It was filled with ugly cloth dolls. He said sheepishly, because my needlework is really not very good, I haven't shown them to you. Yun Shu, please just give birth safely. Even if you give birth to a monster, I will still love them dearly. I picked up one of the dolls and looked at it for a long time, then nodded. As soon as I returned to my palace, Xiao Zi anxiously pulled me into the room. She made sure no one was eavesdropping and then whispered to me, "Your Highness, you should run." For a moment, I didn't understand. "Your Highness, you must flee." Xiaozi pulled out a bundle from somewhere and stuffed it directly into my hands. I've thought about it. Rather than the three of us dying again, it's better to take the little princess and go. I've already arranged things at the back gate. Someone will be there to meet you. Once you exit the palace gates, I will pretend to be you. By the time His Majesty discovers me, you will surely be out of the city. I looked at Xiaozi for a long time, then handed the bundle back and told her to put it away. Xiaozi got anxious. "Your Highness, don't hesitate any longer. If we don't run now, it'll really be too late." I took a deep breath and told Xiaozi it was fine now. I already know what kind of child Xiaochen wants. Earlier, when he showed me the toys he made for the child, specifically one of the cloth dolls, I noticed something. That's when I realized. He doesn't want a boy or a girl. What he wants is, I looked at Xiaozi's expectant eyes and pointed at my own belly. As long as it comes out of my belly, be it a boy or a girl, even if it's a dog, he would want it. Xiaozi was completely confused by me. "Your Highness, what are you saying? If His Majesty really wanted the child in your womb, why would he have killed us so many times?" Seeing my look of absolute certainty, Xiaozi thought I had been brainwashed by Xiaochen again. She became a bit more frantic. "Wake up. Have you forgotten what happened to you in your previous lives? If you give birth again this time, I'm afraid we'll be executed by 1,000 cuts." I patted her hand. "It won't happen, Xiaozi. This time, we definitely won't die. However, there are some things I'm not sure about yet, so I need you to do something for me." After listening to me, although Xiaozi couldn't understand the point of doing this, she still nodded. "Your Highness, I will certainly handle this matter well." Soon, the day arrived for me to give birth. On this day, Xiaochen didn't even attend the morning court. He had all the physicians from the Imperial Medical Academy waiting outside my room. The finest tonics were simmering over the fire, ready at any moment to replenish my strength. Xiaochen even invited 3 experienced midwives to deliver the baby for me. Before the labor even started, Xiaochen sat by my bedside, tightly holding my hand, and planted a soft kiss on my forehead. "Yunshu, don't be afraid. I will be here with you the whole time, until our child is born." When the midwives heard this, they could only praise my good fortune. "Your Highness is truly blessed." Since ancient times, childbirth has been seen as a bloody misfortune. Men would always avoid it. They viewed it as unlucky, yet His Majesty disregards the taboos and personally guards your side. Such devotion is truly rare. It shows his affection for your Highness is deep and meaningful, unlike any other. After one midwife praised him, the others followed suit, echoing her words. Except for being a bit obsessive about certain things. At other times, everyone felt he didn't quite act like an emperor. The late emperor was lustful, so he had a large harem. With many concubines, there were even more princes. In the past, those who lost the struggle for the throne would invariably end up being dismembered by 5 horses. But after Xiaochen took power, he actually settled his surviving brothers quite well. According to tradition, after the late emperor's death, his concubines should have been buried with him. But Xiaochen abolished that practice. He even continues to support those concubines in the inner palace. However, because he himself couldn't father children, his harem has only me to this day. Everyone says Xiaochen married me because I could propagate for him out of self-interest. But on our wedding night, he confessed his love to me with a blushing face, saying he truly liked me. After marriage, he gave me plenty of respect and dignity. In the past, when others said I was lucky and had good fortune, I would feel very sweet inside. But now that I know Xiaochen's true face, I only feel disgusted. Xiaochen stayed by my bedside, not because he was worried, nor because he wasn't afraid of the taboo, but because above all else, he wanted to make sure that this child was born from my belly. Under Xiaochen's urging, I took our family's secret medicine. As soon as the medicine went down, there was movement in my belly. Pain spread from my lower abdomen to my entire body. Cold sweat soaked my bedding. I was in pain, but Xiaochen seemed to be in even more pain than I was. He looked worried, repeatedly calling my name. "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Finally, with a cry, my child was successfully born. Xiaochen used a cloth to wipe the sweat from my face, and then kissed my cheek again. "Yunshu, it's been hard for you." After doing this, the midwife had already cleaned the baby. "Your Majesty, Her Highness has given birth to a beautiful little princess." Xiaochen took the child. At that moment, I closed my eyes. Even though I had lived through 3 lives and seen my children murdered with my own eyes, I didn't dare look now. This is not the child I wanted. Those familiar words echoed in my ears. With a loud thud, the wailing child was suddenly silenced. I opened my eyes. Everyone inside and outside the room was kneeling on the floor. Xiaochen looked up at me with a fierce expression. "What kind of lucky woman are you? You can't even give birth to the child I want. You should just die." He lunged at me earlier than before, just as his blade was pressed against my throat. I laughed. "Heh, Xiaochen, are you sure you want to kill me? Then you'll never find the child I bore for you." Xiaochen's hand paused. He looked at me. "What do you mean?" I sat up and moved back a few steps. "I already know all of your plans. The one you just killed is not our child at all. How could you? Xiaochen was stunned for a few seconds. Then he looked down. He saw the lifeless child on the floor instantly turn into a piece of rotten pork. Everyone gasped in shock. Xiaochen's face turned pale. How did it turn into this? Everyone knows. The reason why the women in our family have good luck is because our ancestors once helped a wandering sorcerer. At that time, the wandering sorcerer was on the brink of death. It was my family's ancestor who brought him home and called a doctor for him. After he recovered, he said he was actually an immortal from heaven. He asked my ancestor if she had any wishes. My ancestor didn't take this to heart and only told him that she didn't have much of a wish, only hoping that her descendants would have many children and much fortune. It was because of this single sentence that all the women in our entire family became blessed with good luck, but no one knew that besides the lucky constitution, that sorcerer also left behind a secret manual. In it, there was not only the way to make the secret medicine to change the gender of the fetus in the womb, and the illusion technique to turn other things into a fetus. Giving birth isn't difficult for our family at all. As early as last night, I had already given birth to my child and let Xiaozi take him away. Afterward, I stuffed this piece of pork into my belly to create the illusion of giving birth. Hearing this, Xiaochen flew into a rage. Since you already know everything, then hurry up and hand over the child. Otherwise I will kill you. I looked at him calmly. Whether I hand the child over or not, you will kill me. So why should I? If I don't hand him over, only I will die. But you don't want to die. Yun Shu, if you wanted to die, you wouldn't have told me the truth when I was about to kill you. Doing this isn't it because you still want to live? As long as you tell me the child's whereabouts, I can choose not to kill you. I don't want to die. But I won't believe your words either. I have plenty of ways to make you escort me out of here. Xiaochen laughed. Yun Shu, you are truly naive. Why would I escort you out? I pulled a cloth doll out from the bedding. Unless I have this. The moment he saw the cloth doll, Xiaochen's eyes turned bloodshot. How did you get that? Give it back to me. He reached out to grab what was in my hand. I watched him quietly. This look before me is the true Xiaochen. If you want it, escort me out. Xiaochen stared fixedly at the cloth doll in my hand. Finally, almost through gritted teeth, he escorted me out of the city gates. I did exactly as he said. The carriage sped through the night. I arrived at an abandoned earth god temple in the suburbs. I placed the cloth doll under the shrine. Afterward, I pretended to head south, but actually took another secret path back to a hidden room in the palace. Xiaozi was holding the peacefully sleeping baby. Seeing me return, she sighed in relief. Your Highness, you're finally back. I took the child from her arms and couldn't help but tease him a bit. Xiaozi could no longer contain herself. Your Highness, I still don't understand. Why would His Majesty yield because of a cloth doll? That's no ordinary cloth doll. I let out a sigh. Since things have come to this, there is indeed nothing left to hide. I examined them carefully. Among those ugly cloth dolls, only this one has the messiest and oldest stitches. What's stuffed inside isn't ordinary cotton, but a mixture of special medicinal herbs and ash, as well as human hair and nail clippings. So this doll is not a dead object. It should be considered alive. Xiaozi gasped sharply. Alive? In other words, there is a child's soul inside this doll. Do you remember what I told you about knowing what kind of child Xiaochen wanted? What he wants is the child inside that cloth doll. Xiaozi was shocked again and again by my words, let alone Xiaozi being surprised. Even when I guessed all this myself, I didn't expect it. My first suspicion came from looking at the nanny's records. In those records, Xiaochen was alone when he was young. But later, a woman appeared. Although that woman didn't appear often, I recognized her at a glance. She was one of the late emperor's concubines, named Su Qing. Since I was the only one in Xiaochen's harem, the needs of the late emperor's concubines were all managed by me. I had seen all those concubines. Su Qing was the most inconspicuous among them. Previously, I also thought Xiaochen was good to all the late emperor's concubines because he was generous and compassionate. Only after seeing those records did I realize it wasn't so. The two people in the paintings were at ease, looking like intimate lovers. I had quietly inquired before Su Qing married the late emperor, she had taken care of Xiaochen for a while. The day Su Qing was chosen by the late emperor was exactly Xiaochen's 16th birthday. She was humming a Jiangnan tune of the time, which was heard by the late emperor returning from his southern tour. He stopped his carriage for a long time. That night, she was wrapped in a quilt and carried to the imperial bedchamber. Since then, Xiaochen became a different person. He began to fight desperately on the archery range and stayed up all night in the Hall of Culture. The late emperor finally noticed this silent prince and allowed him to participate in state affairs. However, after Xiaochen rose to power, he never sought out Su Qing again. Everyone thought they had a falling out. Actually, they didn't. The two were having an affair in secret and even had a child. It was a boy, but soon, the child was found to be seriously ill. Xiaochen secretly searched for famous doctors all over the world, but there was no way to cure him. At the final critical moment, he found a witch doctor. The witch doctor used sorcery to seal the child's soul into a cloth doll, while the body was hidden away by Xiaochen. Xiaozi's eyes widened. Then why did Xiaochen marry you? Yes, since he had a sweetheart. And Su Qing could give him children. Why would he want a lucky woman like me? The reason, naturally, is that after Su Qing gave him that one child, she lost the ability to conceive, and because she lost her child, she lost her will to live. So all these years, Xiaochen has been looking for a way to bring the child back to life. At this point, Xiaozi understood something. She looked at the child in my arms. So killing your children over and over again, couldn't it be because this child can bring that child back to life? I nodded. As long as at a specific time, he kills both me and the child at once, he can complete the life-swapping ritual. So, regardless of whether I gave birth to a boy or a girl, Xiaochen would want it. In other words, he would kill it. It took a long time to digest all this information. Then Your Highness, what do we do now? Do we have to hide in this secret room for the rest of our lives? Before I could speak, the door to the hidden room suddenly shook. The light illuminated Xiaochen's figure. His low voice echoed in my ears. Yun Shu, you are indeed here. I took 2 steps back when I saw him. Instinctively holding the child tightly. How did you know I was here? Before he could answer, Xiaozi grabbed the child away. And then handed the child to Xiaochen. Your Majesty, I've snatched the child for you. I turned my head and looked at Xiaozi in disbelief. Xiaozi, are you crazy? Why are you doing this? I'm not crazy, I just don't want to die again. As long as I follow you, I will surely die. So I might as well expose this whole thing. So that was the reason. I was a bit speechless. Do you think you can live just by telling him? Now that you know all the truth about him, you still think you can live? I not only told him you hid the child here, I also told him the secret of our rebirth. I feel that since all 3 of us are reborn every time, it means as long as one of us doesn't die, this cycle will end. So as long as I drink muting medicine afterward, and never speak in this lifetime, there won't be any problems. His Majesty has also promised me that once this matter is over, he will give me endless glory and wealth. I looked at her quietly. You think being a mute will make you safe? You still have hands. You still have feet. You can still leak secrets. Shut up. Even at a time like this, you still have the mind to worry about others. Think about your own child. Just as the words left his mouth, he held the child in his hands high above his head. No, no. Xiaochen. The time you wanted has already passed. Killing him now is of no use. The time? Ha 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 ha. You really thought I needed to kill you at a specific time? That time was merely the time my Yuner was born. Making you give birth at that time was just to commemorate him. Over all this time, the things I placed in your body have already taken effect. No matter when you and this child die, Yuer will return. Go to your deaths. Don't. You will regret it. As soon as he said that, Xiaochen let go. The child fell right in front of me. The curl of his lips widened, and the sword in his hand stabbed straight down. Then he looked up at me, glaring. Now it's your turn. I took 2 steps back. The grief on my face turned into a look of triumph in an instant. Xiaochen, why don't you take a look at this child? And see if it's the one you wanted? Even now. What kind of tricks are you trying to play? Xiaochen frowned, and used his sword to lift the swaddling cloth from the child. Seeing the true face of the child, his eyes instantly turned bloodshot. Xiaochen looked up at me, his eyes full of disbelief. How could I know his hiding place to keep a corpse from rotting? First, you must fill it with mercury, and second, you must keep it at a low temperature. That day when you showed me the cloth doll, I felt that there was something behind your cabinet. So while I was looking for the cloth doll, I naturally found that secret room as well. Xiaochen, oh Xiaochen. All is fair in war. You don't even understand such a simple principle. You deserve to fail in protecting your sweetheart, and fail in protecting your son. Xiaochen was severely provoked by me. Yun Shu. You poisonous woman. If you don't kill my Yuner, you won't be able to live. You actually killed him. I will send you to the afterlife right now. He was heartbroken, and raised his sword to strike me. However, before his sword could descend, a blade appeared from behind him and pierced directly through his chest. Xiaochen was stunned. He turned his head and saw Xiaozi's face. He understood immediately. So you are in league together. No wonder, before he could finish his sentence, Xiaochen had already collapsed to the ground. The rest of the words remained unsaid. But I knew. No wonder Xiaozi would let him come here alone. Everything Xiaozi said to him was planned. The power of the imperial throne is too strong. The three of us could run for a while, but not for a lifetime. The only way to break this situation was through Xiao Chen. If we didn't kill him, we would always be stuck in the cycle. That's why I lured him to this hidden room. Just as I thought. Xiao Chen was too arrogant. He didn't think two women could do anything to him. After this loss, I will never trust the royal family again. Thus, after Xiao Chen's death, I ascended the throne, and became a female emperor of a generation. We, your subjects, pay our respects to your majesty the empress. Long live the empress. As for Su Qin, she was a pitiful person after all. She couldn't be with her sweetheart when she was young. The child she bore was a sickly weakling, and she herself suffered from depression. I truly pitied her too much, so I ordered her to be bestowed with the scarlet red to let her reunite with Xiao Chen.